Hey fish friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Zenzo from Tazawa Tanks. Now in the past I've made videos about how to leave your aquariums when you go on vacation, or if you're going to be gone for several days. I've made videos that talked about how to feed your fish or not feed your fish, you know, setting up automatic feeders, having a schedule for someone to feed them, some tips as far as like temperature control, water changes, things like that. And recently I went on vacation. In fact, I got back last night at midnight. And anyway, let's take a quick look at my trip, and then we'll come back and talk about what I did. Okay, I hope you guys liked that short little montage. But anyway, I left my fish for a week. I left on a Monday morning, a very early Monday morning, and came back very late on a Sunday night. I came back at midnight, and during my entire trip, I did nothing for my fish, meaning I didn't have anyone feed my fish, I didn't feed my fish, and I didn't set up any automatic feeders, etc. Although there is one tank that I do have an automatic feeder on, but that is always on there. It always feeds that tank twice per day. That's the Planet Discus tank. So that tank had food, but every other tank, pond, etc. that I have in my fish room or upstairs in my office or in the living room, in the display room, none of them had food, and they all did great. So basically what I did before I left is I did my normal maintenance. I went around and did water changes and made sure that the water quality was good for each and every tank. And I have a system where I kind of write the date on the tank, and that way I know when the last water change is. And so I went around and double checked everybody and made sure that everyone was doing well, all the water parameters were fine, and did some large water changes. I also did kind of ramp up some feeding for the week before I left, meaning that every day I would feed a little bit more, get the fish kind of nice and full and fat, just making sure that I was putting weight on them so that when I was gone, knowing that I wasn't going to feed them, that they wouldn't be emaciated and they would be fine and healthy. Well, they were. So last night at midnight I came home and went around and double checked to make sure that everyone was okay, because I was thinking about it on the flight home, kind of like, oh, I hope all my fish are fine. They were all fine. And so I didn't do anything last night. Came down this morning and fed them all. Now they were very hungry, very active, but they all looked great. They were all healthy. They were all behaving normally. There weren't any issues. The only issue that I did see is that some of the juvenile cichlids that I have, my West African jewel cichlids, they got a little nippy with each other, just because they're kind of at that aggressive age. So in hindsight, I maybe should have put something in there, but otherwise no deaths. Everyone was fine. Everyone was healthy, and everyone looked great. The tanks looked great. There was a little bit of algae, which is expected if you have the lights on, because my lights are on timer, so they come on every day, go off every night, because of plants in certain tanks. For those tanks that I have without plants, I did turn lights off, just because I didn't need to be down here to view my fish, so there was no sense in having a light on that tank. But all of the tanks that have plants in them, obviously they need light, so those stayed on. And I did have a little bit of algae. I also did a lot of water changes today on some of my larger, heavier stock tanks, but again, everyone was great, everyone looked fine, and there weren't really any issues. Now I know I've talked in the past about what you can do when you go on vacation, and I think even back then I shared that if you are going to be gone for a few days, you don't really need to do anything. Some of the tricks or some of the tips that I gave probably would be better suited if you're going to be gone for a week and a half, 2 weeks plus. Obviously then you're going to need to have some kind of plan to take care of your pets. But otherwise, if you're going to be gone for 5, 6, 7 days, you really don't need to do much, if you know, if anything at all. Obviously, you want to make sure before you leave that your fish are healthy. You want to make sure that your water quality is good before you leave. But otherwise, just, you know, make sure they're healthy, well fed before you go. Leave for the week and come back, and they probably will be just fine, as mine were. So anyway, I would love to read down below in the comments what you do when you leave for vacation. Do you freak out and not know what to do? Which I think a lot of you do, because I get a lot of comments on some of those older videos. Do you guys, you know, not feed your fish? Do you have someone come over? How long do you go away for when you've left your fish? I'd love to read all that down below. Very interested to hear what you have experienced. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. You can follow me on Instagram. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.